And Mena, I would love to hear what dark places you went to kind of prepare for Alma, because Alma was a very
That's
interesting
my
twisted
mind all the
character.
time. No.
Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch Your Pass. Today I'm joined by Kevin Lewis, the director, and stars Mena Suvari, Sarah Gray, and Alexis Knapp of The Accursed, which is coming to theaters and on demand on October 14th, 2022. We're going to talk to them right now. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. Also, a lot. Thank you. So thanks so much for joining me. This is Kevin Lewis, the director, and stars Mena Suvari, Sarah Gray, and Alexis Knapp of The Accursed, which is coming to theaters and on demand on October 14th, 2022, just in time for Halloween. It is a suspenseful thriller that has obviously a great cast and some really good practical effects. So thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. So the first question is for Kevin. I loved seeing a horror film that had pretty much a predominantly female cast. I think there were only 2 male characters. Was that something that appealed to you when you were reading the script or when you were kind of brainstorming this idea?
Absolutely. I loved it too because it was very organic. It didn't feel forced. It just felt like this was a story that needed to be told, and it was a female cast. So that's what I liked about it. I grew up with a single mom, and I have 2 sisters, so I've had very strong female presence in my life, and I have a daughter and been married for over 20 years. So for me, it was like, it was just a great story, an organic story that needed to be told about the sins of the mothers visiting on their daughters, so.
Yeah, exactly. And I like how you said it didn't feel forced, because that's kind of, what happened with me. I was watching, I was like, oh, like everyone here is female, and it kind of everything fits perfectly in the story. So I did like that aspect as well.
Yeah, we're not putting a spotlight on it, right? It just kind of unfolds that it is that way. And that's what I like about it,
Exactly. And for, the rest of the stars, what was it about this script that appealed to you? Was it the female cast? Was it some of the characters you got to play? I'm just curious how each of you got involved. I guess we'll start with Mena.
I mean, I've loved this genre my whole life. I was a huge fan of Kevin's. I think it really just came down to trying to wrap my head around why they thought of me for Alma, the things that he had to do. I think, yeah, it was really just sort of like a little bit of shock of, oh, okay, wow, we're really going to go there. But because I'm that person, I was really excited about it. So, yeah.
I mean, I think it was perfect because there were some scenes where like just the look in your eyes conveyed so much, terror that I think, it was the perfect casting for Alma. It was really.
It was fun. I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot of fun to be in that space. But ultimately, like, it's centered in heartbreak, so there's a lot really to draw from.
Definitely. And Sarah, how did you get involved in this? Did you sign on early, late, and what appealed to you about this film?
I don't know where I fell in the order, but yeah, I was sent the script and I loved it, and I was super excited at the thought of working with Kevin, and I liked the message. It's about facing your demons and healing, generational trauma. And it's not just your baggage that you're healing, it's your parents and, generations before you. So that's a really important thing. And I think the topics are really universal: grief and guilt and heartbreak. So yeah.
And issues with parents is pretty universal as well. So I like that topic as well. Alexis, how did you get involved in this? What appealed to you about this film?
I don't know at what point I was put into it. I think it was kind of early on. It was many months before we filmed, but it moved right along. It appealed to me for a number of reasons. Exactly what Sarah said, generational trauma resonates with me very much so. I've recognized that in my mother, my grandmother, me, and my daughter, things that are traveling through us. And we need to have awareness of what those patterns are so that we can be what is called a lineage breaker, somebody who says, you know what, this isn't even mine. I got this from so many generations above, and I think I'm going to say no to that and put an end to it. I've had that realization with my own daughter in regards to certain things, and I took extreme action to ensure that she wouldn't have to deal with some of the BS that my mother and myself, my grandma, that we've all kind of suffered with. So yeah, I mean, that was a given on that one for me. Very close to home. And the fact that my character was just so strong and focused and grounded, not a joker, is there to with a very strong mission and is laser focused on succeeding in that mission, and nothing's going to stop her. That was a turn on.
Yeah, no, I love that. You know, your character, it sounds like, you know, you personally have dealt with the issues that your character dealt with in the film. It sounds like a perfect casting for you. And I also love that you mentioned your daughter, because that was fun in the credits being like, oh, like that, like that is actually your daughter playing your daughter in this. You know, I know you've done roles with her before. How special was this one though?
Well, only things that we've done before were like little short somethings, just like put your toes in the water. This was the first time doing anything that's a feature film. And I mean, it was surreal. I was like, God, I wish this was a series. Let's do this for 6 months. Like, I love this. It's incredible to work with your own child. Like it's still surreal to me.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. Was it tough to balance like personal and professional, you know,
Yes.
Like...
Because I had to be a mom all the time and taking care of my kid. I didn't have a nanny there with me. And then she had to do schooling. It was a lot. It was a lot, but you know, nothing I can't handle.
Sounds like more than a full-time job. And one thing I did love when I was thinking about each of your characters, everyone in this gets to play, at least, you know, everyone here gets to play a badass, like a different way, very different types of badasses, but everyone was like a very strong character in their own right. How did you all go about preparing for these very different types of strong female leads? Was there anything that you researched or thought about before kind of stepping onto the screen? And whoever feels called can answer.
I could speak again. I guess I just really tuned in with my own experiences in relationships and disappointment, abandonment, and I just really tuned into that more serious, grounded, truthful side to myself, and just really breathe into it, because my character was not there to be funny, not there to entertain, not there to be cute, hot, none of it. It was like just strictly that core strength that only comes from wounding and having traumas.
That seems like a great place to draw from for a horror film and for your character as well. Sarah, how did you prepare? I mean, you had pretty much the most screen time in this film. How did you prepare for like everything that you had to go through in this?
Yeah, it's intense stuff that I was working with. So it was just prepping, really getting into the psyche, understanding my character. I really did, like Alexis, like bring a lot of what I've been through to try and bring the most honesty to it. And it was really stuff that I could relate to, stuff that I think most people could relate to. So yeah, and then on the day, you know, for getting really emotional, for me, music is such a powerful thing. So it was just, yeah, putting in my earbuds and listening to just a little bit of music right before, and it really got me.
Sounds perfect. And Mena, I would love to hear what dark places you went to kind of prepare for Alma, because Alma was a very interesting,
that's my mind
character.
all the time. No. I guess, I mean, I think a lot of, you know, what we've already touched upon. I mean, there's so much about environment, music, you know, that adds to the element. I mean, I think for me, so much happens when I get there and I'm seeing the set. I'm experiencing all of that. I'm experiencing what everyone else is bringing. I'm, you know, experiencing my look, my wardrobe. All of this adds to it. I always draw upon my own life experience. But I guess what I always try to do is, because I just love communicating. I love the collaborative effort. I always try to hand as much over to our director or our visionary, because I want to know where they're at. I feel like there's always like this delicate play between like a director giving as much space to the actor to do what they want, but I always try to like, you know, I always like racket it back, because for me, that's personally how I like to work. I really feel like I'm here for you. And so I want to help be, you know, that vehicle to communicate like what you want. And that's where I experience the joy in what I do.
That constant push and pull. I kind of love that. It feels like that's kind of a balance that you have to get. And I think that balance was definitely hit in this film. I love that Sarah and Mena, you both mentioned music, because there is a prominent haunting song that kind of plays throughout this. You both mentioned songs that got you in the mood. I'm curious, what was there a specific song or just like a general type of song that you would listen to? And Alexis, if you also had some sort of music that would help you get in the mindset, I'd love to hear it, because that song was prominent. And I kind of love the way that it kind of had the perfect feel for this film.
Yeah, I mean, I think even listening to that song helped me on the set.
Just cried.
It was haunting and beautiful. It was just like hit the sweet spot for what we needed.
Yeah, perfect.
And that creepy vintage quality that it had to it.
I had to look it up. I had to see it. Was this like actually an old song or just a song in the style of a haunting classic? It fit perfectly for this theme.
Emwa, who composed the score, and he did Willy's Wonderland as well. It's an original song. Yeah, it's. I wanted something to be kind of a hark back to like a Patsy Cline vibe, like Mena said, vintage, and we play it on a record, right? So something that would, haunting and just kind of make you think, and kind of got that sorrow feel vibe to it, and just kind of the words just kind of like melt and just kind of you soak it in, and so he worked very hard on that song, and I needed to get it before we shot the movie, because I was kind of matching scenes to it, and cutting, the movie was shoot to cut, so I basically kind of knew how I was going to cut it, so I only shot what I needed, and so that song needed to be right on the money, and he did a great job.
Yeah, agree. And that makes perfect sense. I know indie schedules are very, very tight. So you definitely had to make the most of all the time that you had.
Yeah.
And speaking of time, I know you all have very limited time. You have a very busy schedule, so I'll wrap it here. But thank you so much for joining me. This is Kevin Lewis, the director, and stars Mena Suvari, Sarah Gray, and Alexis Knapp of The Accursed, which is coming to theaters and on demand on October 14th, 2022, just in time for Halloween. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, David.
Yes.
Thank you.
I listened to Max Richter in between sets. Just
Oh, perfect. Sorry. I will make sure you had that. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Kevin Lewis, Mena Suvari, Sarah Gray, and Alexis Knapp of The Accursed, which is coming to theaters and on demand on October 14, 2022. It's a suspenseful horror film that's arriving just in time for Halloween. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.